Moving on, EdTech startup Nxtwave has raised $33 million, led by Greater Pacific Capital in their latest fundraising round, with participation from existing venture investor Orios Venture Partners. The upskilling company, which aims to build India's largest online employability platform for new-age technology careers, plans to use the funds to invest in product and content, onboard more companies to hire its learners, and so on. Now, to discuss the fundraise, expansion plans, and the way forward for the company, we're now joined by Nxtwave's co-founder and CEO, Rahul Atuluri. Rahul, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. You're building India's largest online employability platform for new-age technology careers. Talk to me about the kind of courses you have. What are the skills that you're readying people for?
First of all, thanks for having me in this show. So to answer your question, I think there is a report of Morgan Stanley which says that the current IT exports from the country are 178 billion. And over the next decade, it is going to get tripled down to 528 billion. So we have in IT, India has been in IT for more than 25 years now. And now we are talking about the IT exports being tripled down in just a decade span of time. So it is a massive opportunity. So it involves all the new age technologies like, be it AI, be it data science. I think there are plethora of opportunities that are getting created in the new age tech domains. And we want to make sure that our young population in India can leverage upon this opportunity. And we are trying to bridge the gap that exists in terms of the opportunity and to massively upskill the students.
All right. Hi, Rahul. Shruti here. You've recently raised $33 million in funding. What is the current valuation of the company and how do you plan to spend the funds?
Sure. So we have raised the money at a pre-money of $200 million valuation. And I think the reason why we have raised funds is that we want to make sure that we want to bring more opportunities for our students. So currently, our students have been hired by more than 1,200 plus companies. And with this fundraise, we want to onboard more than 10,000 plus companies so that our students who are getting skilled on our platform will have even more larger pool of opportunities for them to kind of bank upon. And second is we want to heavily invest upon technology to create more personalized learning experiences for our student, and also want to invest more in terms of content and curriculum to make sure that they are staying edge of what's being needed in the industry. And third is we also want to be opportunistic in this market by looking at any potential acquisitions.
Right, we're going to discuss that a little bit in detail going forward, but you claim to have created job-ready tech professionals through your training programs. Over the last couple of years, about 1,250 plus companies from fast-growing startups to Fortune 500 giants have hired thousands of Nxtwave learners. So how many people are enrolled on your platform? And under the current circumstances with massive layoffs across the tech industry, what's the impact that you expect to see?
Sure. I think while there is definitely a slump in the overall market in terms of the layoffs that we are seeing, but I think it's only a short temporary thing that is going to stay, because when we are talking about the growth in terms of the overall IT industry as a whole, I think and I think India is in at a very sweet spot compared to the rest of the global markets, because in the cost cutting exercise also, I think a lot of these companies are setting up their development shops in India, which is in short term, we might see a short slump in terms of the opportunities. But on the other side, we are continuously seeing an increase in terms of the inbound number of opportunities that are being made available for the students. So I think the future is bright for India, and as well as future is very bright for the overall young population of the country. So it's all about a temporary slump that is happening right now.
Okay, so you're saying it's a temporary slump, Rahul, but nearly 63% of Indian graduates are unemployed, and an estimated 30 lakh new tech jobs are projected to be created in India within a few years. This gap opens up a total tech upskilling opportunity of over $8 billion annually. So how are you helping bridge this gap, and what's the next phase of growth for you as a company?
As you rightly said, so there is a massive number of tech opportunities that are going to be created, like 30 lakh jobs in the very near future. So when we are planning to kind of fill that sort of a void, I think the only way we can go about to fill that void is not just focus on computer science engineers, but we also need to focus upon non-computer science engineers as well as STEM students. And when we are talking about the scale of like 30 lakh jobs, so I think we also need to go into very deeper into the Indian market, where most of the students come from like tier 2, 3, 4 colleges as well as small towns of the India. And when we are talking about them, so they are typically habituated to kind of learning in native language plus English. So one of the key areas that we have focused at Nxtwave very early on in our journey is to kind of teach coding skills in their native language, which has significantly increased the engagement as well as the learning outcomes for the student. I think using tech leverage as well as using the leverage of native language plus English, I think, and also by partnering with industry professionals, I think we are combining all the elements that are needed for one to become upskilled and become industry ready.
All right, so using vernacular languages there to boost boost the learners on your platform. Now, what kind of revenues are you clocking? Where do you hope to end this year? What's the road to profitability looking like?
So I think we are one company where we have always had been profitable right from day one. So we are profitable company as well as we are already cash flow positive as a company. So I think for us the opportunity is more in terms of how do we scale this to across the country, and how do we bring about more tech leverage and enhancing the overall student learning experience. So it has never been about profitability for Nxtwave.
All right. Rahul, you're looking to acquire companies in the next few years as well. What's the inorganic growth plan? Are you in talks with anyone right now?
I think while we want to be opportunistic in this market, but we'll be looking at the potential assets maybe 3 to 6 months down the line. While we have some directions, but we haven't yet identified any specific asset as such.
All right, Rahul, we're completely out of time, but thank you so much for joining us on the show today, and we wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
On that note, it is time for us to head into a short break, but coming up next today on our special series, Unicorn Health Check,